In modern military history, few aircraft symbolize long-range strategic power as clearly as the B-52 Stratofortress. First introduced during the Cold War, this bomber has remained a central component of the United States Air Force for more than 7 decades. Despite its age, it continues to be upgraded and integrated into modern combat doctrine. Understanding why such an aircraft still plays a role today requires looking at how modern air campaigns are designed and executed. Military strategists generally describe modern air campaigns in phases. The first phase often focuses on achieving control of the skies. In hypothetical conflict scenarios involving technologically advanced militaries, stealth aircraft are typically deployed first to neutralize air defenses and radar systems. One aircraft frequently associated with this role is the Northrop Grumman B-2 Spirit, a long-range stealth bomber designed to penetrate heavily defended airspace without being detected. In many strategic simulations and defense analyses, stealth bombers like the B-2 would be used to strike radar networks, command centers, and communication systems during the opening hours of a conflict. These initial strikes are often described as surgical, meaning they target specific systems that allow an opponent's military to coordinate its defenses. Before such strikes occur, electronic warfare operations would likely take place. These operations can involve jamming radar signals, interfering with communications, or even spoofing radar systems so that they display false information. Once those networks are disrupted, stealth aircraft and fighter jets can conduct highly precise attacks on critical targets. Military analysts frequently explain that this approach aims to dismantle an opponent's integrated air defense system. An integrated air defense network typically consists of radar installations, missile batteries, command centers, and communication nodes that work together to detect and respond to threats in the air. If those components are disabled early in a conflict, the defending nation may struggle to coordinate an effective response. After these operations, the strategic environment can change significantly. If the attacking force gains what is known as air superiority, it becomes much easier to conduct additional operations using aircraft that are not designed for stealth. This is where aircraft like the B-52 enter the picture. Another factor often discussed in military studies involves ballistic missile capabilities. Some countries maintain large inventories of these weapons as a way to deter potential adversaries. Ballistic missiles can travel long distances and are designed to deliver conventional or strategic payloads against distant targets. However, these systems also rely heavily on coordination and communication. Launch sites, command centers, and support facilities all play a role in ensuring that missiles can be deployed effectively. If those supporting systems are disrupted, the overall capability of the missile force can decline. For that reason, many military doctrines emphasize targeting the infrastructure that supports missile operations, rather than focusing solely on the missiles themselves. Destroying launch facilities, communication networks, and production centers can significantly reduce a country's ability to sustain missile attacks over time. As an air campaign progresses, analysts often observe a shift in operational strategy. The earliest phase emphasizes precision and stealth. Later phases focus more on sustained pressure using aircraft capable of carrying large payloads and operating for extended periods. The B-52 is particularly suited for this second phase. Its long range, heavy payload capacity, and ability to remain airborne for extended periods make it ideal for prolonged operations. Instead of a small number of highly specialized stealth missions, the campaign can transition into a broader effort that targets remaining military infrastructure. By combining precision weapons with high-volume strike capability, such aircraft can apply continuous pressure on an opponent's remaining defensive systems. Over time, this sustained approach can further weaken the ability of a defending military to coordinate its forces. Another factor frequently discussed in defense analysis is cost. Modern stealth aircraft are extremely sophisticated machines, but they are also very expensive to operate and maintain. Because of their specialized coatings and complex systems, stealth bombers require extensive maintenance between missions. Aircraft like the B-52, while still costly to operate, are generally less expensive per flight hour compared to stealth bombers. This difference can become important in longer conflicts, where sustained operations may last weeks rather than days. For military planners, balancing capability with cost efficiency is an important consideration. Using stealth aircraft to open an air campaign and then transitioning to older but highly capable bombers is often described as a practical approach to maintaining long-term operational pressure. While aircraft capabilities and weapon systems are often the most visible elements of an air campaign, strategic planners also focus heavily on sustainability. Sustained operations require not only aircraft and weapons, but also logistics, intelligence gathering, and coordination between multiple branches of the military. In large-scale operations, air forces rarely operate alone. Naval forces, satellite surveillance systems, reconnaissance aircraft, and ground-based intelligence networks all contribute to the broader picture. Together, they provide the data necessary to identify targets, track movements, and determine where strikes may have the greatest strategic effect. Modern military strategy frequently emphasizes the concept of persistent pressure. Instead of relying on a single overwhelming strike, forces may conduct repeated operations designed to gradually reduce an opponent's ability to respond. Each strike may focus on a different component of the military structure, including infrastructure, supply routes, or communication systems. One important area often discussed in defense studies is the vulnerability of integrated air defense systems. These networks rely on constant coordination between radar installations, missile batteries, and command centers. When those connections are disrupted, the entire network can become fragmented. In many historical conflicts, air defense networks have struggled when communication nodes were damaged or when radar systems were jammed. Without clear information about incoming threats, missile operators may be unable to react quickly enough to intercept aircraft or incoming weapons. Another major factor in modern air warfare involves the use of electronic warfare. Electronic warfare units attempt to disrupt an opponent's sensors and communication channels. This can include jamming radar frequencies, interfering with navigation systems, or broadcasting misleading signals that confuse defensive systems. When combined with precision airstrikes, electronic warfare can significantly weaken defensive capabilities. Radar systems may struggle to identify targets accurately, while missile batteries may receive incomplete or delayed information about incoming threats. These challenges illustrate why command and control infrastructure remains such an important focus in military planning. If commanders cannot effectively communicate with their units, even advanced weapon systems may lose much of their effectiveness. Another component frequently discussed in strategic analysis is the role of long-range strike platforms. Aircraft capable of traveling thousands of miles without refueling provide military planners with enormous flexibility. They allow strikes to be launched from distant bases while still reaching targets far from friendly territory. The B-52 Stratofortress is a prime example of such a platform. Despite being introduced in the 1950s, the aircraft has undergone multiple modernization programs. New engines, updated avionics, and advanced weapons integration have allowed the bomber to remain relevant in modern combat planning. In fact, the United States Air Force has invested billions of dollars into programs designed to extend the aircraft's operational life well into the future. These modernization efforts demonstrate how adaptable military technology can be when it is continuously upgraded. Another reason for the aircraft's longevity is its versatility. The B-52 has served in a wide range of missions over the decades, from Cold War nuclear deterrence patrols to conventional bombing operations and precision strike missions. In more recent decades, the aircraft has also been used as a platform for launching cruise missiles. These missiles allow bombers to strike targets from long distances while remaining outside heavily defended airspace. Cruise missiles differ from ballistic missiles in several important ways. Instead of following a high-arching trajectory through the upper atmosphere, cruise missiles fly at relatively low altitudes and navigate using onboard guidance systems. This flight pattern can make them more difficult to detect with radar. As technology has advanced, modern cruise missiles have become increasingly precise. Many use satellite navigation, terrain mapping radar, or infrared guidance systems to locate and strike specific targets. Because of these capabilities, bombers equipped with long-range missiles can support military operations even when they remain hundreds of miles away from the battlefield. Another critical element in large-scale military operations is intelligence gathering. Satellites, reconnaissance aircraft, and unmanned aerial vehicles constantly monitor areas of interest to provide updated information about potential targets and defensive systems. This intelligence allows commanders to assess which targets remain operational and which systems have already been neutralized. Accurate intelligence is essential for avoiding unnecessary strikes and focusing efforts on the most strategically valuable objectives. In addition to intelligence, logistics also plays a central role in sustained operations. Aircraft require fuel, maintenance crews, spare parts, and support personnel. Maintaining a continuous operational tempo requires careful planning and coordination between multiple bases and supply networks. For this reason, military analysts often emphasize that modern warfare is not determined solely by advanced weapons. The ability to maintain supply lines, repair equipment, and coordinate complex operations can be just as important as the weapons themselves. Strategic planners must also consider the broader geopolitical implications of military actions. Conflicts between major regional powers can influence global alliances, trade routes, and diplomatic relationships. For example, tensions in the Middle East often attract attention from multiple international actors. Countries in the region may adjust their military posture, while global powers may evaluate how such developments affect their strategic interests. Because of these complexities, military analysts frequently caution that real-world conflicts rarely unfold exactly as predicted in simulations. Unexpected factors, diplomatic developments, and political decisions can significantly influence the course of events. Nevertheless, studying hypothetical scenarios remains an important tool for understanding how modern militaries might operate under certain conditions. By examining aircraft capabilities, command structures, and operational strategies, analysts can gain insight into how different systems interact during large-scale operations. These studies also highlight the importance of technological innovation. Over time, improvements in stealth technology, missile guidance systems, electronic warfare, and surveillance platforms continue to reshape the balance between offensive and defensive capabilities. Yet even with all these advances, the continued relevance of aircraft like the B-52 Stratofortress demonstrates an important lesson in military history. Well-designed platforms can remain effective for decades when they are regularly modernized and integrated into evolving strategies. From Cold War deterrence to modern precision strike operations, the B-52 has adapted to changing military doctrines while maintaining its core role as a long-range strategic bomber. For historians and defense analysts alike, the aircraft represents more than just a weapon system. It illustrates how military technology evolves over time and how strategic thinking adapts to new challenges. As future developments in aerospace technology continue to emerge, newer aircraft will eventually take on many of the missions currently performed by legacy platforms. However, the enduring service of the B-52 highlights the remarkable longevity that some military systems can achieve when they are designed with adaptability in mind. In the broader study of military history, such examples remind us that the effectiveness of a weapon system often depends not only on its original design, but also on how it is integrated into the larger framework of strategy, logistics, and technological innovation.